Welcome in, everyone. This is the weekly reading, and this is going to be for the week starting November 10th. So we have the second week of November. And so how is everyone feeling? Kind of going through the first week. You know, I talked about last week and in the monthly readings, all of the big kind of astrology going on this month. You know, I really barely tapped it. I'm not by any means, you know, an expert at astrology. I do like to skim the surface and kind of dig in a little bit, and I do like to integrate what's going on astrology from kind of, again, like a basic level in with the readings, because I think the combination really helps you understand what's going on for yourself, what's going on externally, collectively. But yeah, definitely, you know, if you really want to dive in, find some, you know, expert astrologers that just focus on astrology, and you can get a little bit more info or deeper info on really what's going on this month. I'd probably recommend it because there is a lot going on. So, hold on here. I'm just trying to... Okay, so, yeah, the weekly. So, let's see here. We have two big things astrologically going on this week that I wanted to hit. So, Mercury started retrograde on the 9th, which would have been Sunday. So, this reading is kind of starting on Monday the 10th. So, it finally kind of started going retrograde. And that is in Sagittarius. And this is just also 5 days after Mars moved into Sagittarius as well. So this is kind of that Mercury retrograde tied with Aquarius, not Aquarius, Sagittarius is giving us a little bit of mental overload. So Mercury's going to be in retrograde basically the rest of the month. So this is a time we're going to have a little bit of mental overload. You might have that kind of tie with the spiritual aspect. A lot of deep analysis, but also kind of your mind is also kind of almost a little bit of a crisis there with your spiritual inklings and then what's going on in your head, if that makes sense. You know, communication, misunderstandings. So watch for those. You might have some big ideas also. Mercury retrograde, you might have big ideas, but they kind of go nowhere, or they kind of just fizzle out for now because that energy isn't really helping to make them something and you to take action on them and move them forward. It's more of really stopping, pausing, reevaluating. And that's when it's a great time, though, for big ideas to come up or big spiritual kind of downloads or information coming in. But it's like you don't know how to use them yet, or they don't land in ground. They're kind of still in the ethers. You might say too much. You might say not enough. Again, Mercury's about communication, networking, the intellect. So it's a little bit of, you know, throwing it in the air and see where it lands right now. The next thing this week, we have Jupiter goes retrograde on the 11th in Cancer, which is on Tuesday. So, you know, if Mercury retrograde is kind of the mental review, this Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is going to be an emotional review. So this is going to hit the emotional side of things. So we got the mental, we got the emotional. So it's going to be a big combo going on. This is going to be a time where there's going to be a lot of, feelings are going to be, we're going to be in the feels. Feelings are going to be sensitive. People are going to be sensitive right now. This is also kind of nostalgia reemerging again, nostalgia coming up for you. Things from the past can reappear. Karma flare-ups. So things, again, karmic things from the past may pop up again. This could also be tied to your family, especially right ancestral karma things might flare up. A reevaluation of, again, emotions, needs, emotional security. What does that look like for you? So if you have been imbalanced or there hasn't been harmony in your emotional state, it's really going to ask you to look at that head on and kind of reevaluate. So you could be in the camp of you tend to take care of everyone or do everything for everyone else at the expense of yourself. So if you're in that camp, that's something that's really going to pop up for you. Or on the other hand, it could be avoidance, people who avoid intimacy or are too hyper independent, or I don't need people, or, pushing people out, or, protecting yourself, again, at the expense of yourself. So whatever way this is, it's asking you to it's going to ask you to go within and really look at this stuff. So the clouds of all of these two in retrograde, we also have Uranus in retrograde as well. So that's going to be a little hazy for a while. The clouds are finally going to part a little bit on November 21st when the sun enters Sagittarius. But I'm going to talk about that in the next week's reading. But also added to this mix right now, we're still in Scorpio season. So Scorpio is the sign of death and transformation and rebirth. And it's also a water sign. So we got lots of emotions going on. So that's kind of high level. All right. Before we start, as usual, if you're interested in a personal reading with me, you can book one on my website, which is linked below. And, just want to talk, if you are starting your spiritual, I should say, you don't have to be starting your spiritual journey, but if you're in a phase of, there's a lot of questions popping up for you around your spiritual, journey, around what this existence is, how does this kind of tie in with the divine, just recommending my books here. They are the Sum of Everything series, and it's the human existence in relation to heaven. It really goes over anything and everything that really popped up that can help you understand yourself, understand this physical world, the divine, and how they intersect. And especially when we're in emotional times, these books really have encoded, there's codes within the words, and they're actually helping you to open up from an emotional standpoint, because how we get into ourselves, how we navigate into our higher consciousness is all through the emotional scape. And this is really helping you to open up any blocks from an emotional standpoint and help you really understand and feel. It's like it's going to start bringing in the feelings of divine, pure, unconditional love within you as you read the text. So these are great for supporting and helping you through this stage of your existence here, but also your spiritual journey. So I wanted to call that out. Those are on Amazon. All right, let's go ahead and get started here for the week. The last couple weeks have been quite interesting. The energies that have popped up. So it is an amazing time right now. If you didn't watch the last 2 weeks, I would probably watch them too, because those 2 weeks kind of, it's almost like you had to go from there. I mean, and that's a timeline, right? But it's interesting to see what happened in the last 2 weeks and how it's going to tie into this week. But also the last 2 weeks were quite interesting. We are closing up the Uranus cycle as well. Uranus being in Taurus. So we are on the last kind of months of closing out the chapter of Uranus in Taurus, and then it's going to move into Gemini in April. So there's a lot of wrapping up energy. So again, I would take a look at those. Okay. So let's see. The first thing I'm going to ask about is kind of past energies, but the past energies that we need to kind of be aware of right now. As we're moving into this week, how are the past, and what are the past energies that you need to kind of, that are still kind of hanging on, or anything that's still impacting you that's going to move into this week. So we have begin now, take your first step, and then we have chaos. So I feel like as far as past energies, they do seem a little, there may be some chaotic energies that have been going on. You could emotionally be feeling like you've been in a place of a bit of chaos, but something definitely is needing to release here. I'm getting with the chaos card. So whatever has been coming up needs to be released. There's also something where you're beginning like a new path. You're beginning a new chapter in your life. Some aspect of your life is kind of, you're moving into some new energy here. And for you to do that, there was stuff that needed to be released to prepare you for this, because you can't, there was no way you were going to be able to carry all this baggage, or potentially there was something in your life that just wasn't going to align with the new path. So that's what needed to be kind of shown for the past energies leading into this week. Let's get a couple tarot here for the past energies impacting us for this week. We have the Ten of Wands. Yes, definitely closing out some big kind of chapter in your life. Also removing a lot of baggage. Anything that was more of like baggage to you. This could be relationships. This could just be beliefs, emotional baggage, baggage from other people that you've been carrying for a long time. Whatever this is with the Ten of Wands, definitely you've kind of been closing that out. Page of Swords, Two of Wands. And the first thing that came up for the Page of Swords for me is almost like there hasn't been a lot of deep communication going on. And maybe this is tied to what's really going on here with the chaos. Like you haven't really been diving in the depths. Maybe you've kind of been going through this on your own, trying to figure this out, you know, through your own kind of, the page is like new energy. So you're going through something that you're trying to navigate. I also feel like just there's some sort of communication that's very light, because the Page of Swords is about communication that's more like texts and, you know, lighthearted energy, small talk, but you're not really going deep into discussing how your emotions, how you feel about a situation. And I feel like almost too, that's been kind of a pattern in some area of your life. It could just be a pattern in general, but I feel like you're kind of, this hasn't been working for you. Like you need to go deeper. And the Two of Wands is really like also deciding on a new path. So I do feel like you have really made a decision about something and where you're headed. And maybe you just haven't fully, you know, communicated this in like a serious way that a relationship knows this or people around you know this, but you know, kind of, you know, you're on this path. Maybe others don't really know yet here. So that's kind of where you're headed into the week. So this is more past energies leading into the week. So let's look at current energies starting the week off. So we have passion and pleasure, savor your life, and peace. So I do like these energies. They're a lot better, lighter hearted than the past energies. I feel like this is a time of just, maybe you've been taking time to just savor the moment. I'm hearing like smell the roses. Maybe you've had some socializing, you've hung out with friends or had some things with family here. But definitely this is about focusing on things that you're passionate about, that give you pleasure. This is like you only live once energy. Like, let's just be in the moment and enjoy. And your main priority right now should be your peace. This isn't a time really to like be doing too much, especially with all this retrograde energy. It's not a time of doingness. It's more a time of prioritizing your peace and your pleasure right now. And that's kind of where, in this current moment, what needs to be focused on. All right, it's current. So we have Two of Cups, another two. King of Pentacles, the Empress. So there is kind of a focus on love here, but this can also be about just finding harmony from an emotional standpoint within yourself, prioritizing yourself. You are in this, I feel too, people are in this Empress energy of, you're really aligning with your divine self, and you are really aligning with some amazing things. Like, you're just kind of like in your, high energy right now, and the Empress just kind of sits and everything comes to her. And that's what I'm getting. And the Knight of Pentacles, like, I do feel like there's been slow progress in general with people. There's been like slow progress. It's been a very slow kind of like you're walking through mud energy this year. And I feel like definitely it feels like that in relationships. Like, it just feels like everything's so, it's not easy, right? It's like, it's always like, oh, I feel like I'm walking through mud when it comes to my emotions or dealing with other people. But I do feel like there is some progress that's going to be showing up now, especially with this new path. Okay, so that's what's current energy. So let's look at the what's coming in. So we have discovering truth, and you stand in the light of truth and power. So this is really powerful energy, literally, right? I feel like there's a lot of truth coming through you. Not even externally, but I feel like truth is coming through you. I feel like there's a lot of information coming in, especially during this Mercury retrograde, that's really opening yourself up, opening your awareness, in your consciousness. And I feel like where you're at now, you're discovering like your new truth, like a new truth that's unfolding for you. And I feel like it's really ramping up and giving you so much power, especially with the Empress card here. Like, you have a lot of power right now to kind of align with whatever your truth is now. And your truth is essentially your authentic truth. So our authentic truth, or who we are, is constantly like moving and flowing and changing. But I think you're making like a huge leap. Like, there's this huge energetic leap that's been happening, especially the last month, that is moving you forward in a big way. And I feel like you're uncovering a lot more. A lot more is coming in. And that's exactly what we asked about, is what's coming in here. there could also literally be some truth that you're discovering that's really going to help you. I feel like it's a positive truth. And it's opening up, like I said, your ability to align with things. And it's going to help move you forward and like faster, if that makes sense. Okay, so we have the Magician, totally. You are the magician. That's what's coming in. You are really, I also feel like you're getting some aha moments of, or even information from an external sources, like spiritual insights that are really helping you figure out, like if you're like, you know, I focused on trying to manifest or try to really bring in things that I really desire in my life, and that just really hasn't been happening. And I feel like I'm always like just doing, you know, everything I'm supposed to do, supposedly. But it's almost like you get some new information that totally just changes the game. And your ability to bring stuff in is like going to be a lot faster. Something too, this happened to me today actually, where I was listening to this YouTube channeling, and actually instead of using the term, and I keep hearing it keeps changing and morphing, but I think that's the point of like our expansion and our kind of continuing to evolve higher, is like we get information at where we are at, but then, you know, as we expand, as we grow, all of a sudden the information expands and changes because it's more aligned with where we are at now. So what I heard today is, instead of using the term manifestation, and it's almost like instead of using any term that puts out the energy of like, we don't have it yet, you know, like the term want is keeping you in a state of wanting instead of it actually being. So the term we should really be using is we are aligned with. So we are aligned with I'm aligned with my soulmate now. If, you know, if you're looking for love, I'm aligned with financial freedom. Six of Wands. Yeah, you're overcoming something here. And it's like, this is future state, or what's coming in shortly. So there's some sense of, yeah, so there's some sense of you overcoming the past. And you're kind of, this has been like, the Six of Wands is the card of like you coming out of a battle and you've won. And now you can have your, you know, you're feeling in your victory energy. You're like so excited. There's a lot of recognition for what you went through. So this is kind of like, this is what's coming in. So I like this. And then you have the Lovers. So this could definitely be from a relationship standpoint. So you could have overcome a relationship issue or a love issue here, but now you're kind of coming into like a new opportunity for love. There's definitely, you're kind of closing out a karmic chapter of difficult relationships, or a difficult relationship, and now you're able to move forward, and the relationships coming in are going to be a lot more of what you've always wanted. All right, so that, now we're going to look at the good stuff here. So what's good stuff that we need to kind of call out? We have the Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles. So definitely a lot of page energy here. We have 3 out of the 4 pages. We're missing the Page of Cups. But I love this new, fresh energy coming in here. This is very youthful, light, you know, And I feel like that's what you need. That's like the medicine you need after the chaos and this difficult chapter. So things are going to be a lot easier, lighthearted, fun, and that's exactly what you need. You don't need this heavy energy anymore. And then lastly, we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords and the good stuff is like you're winning. Okay? You've been through something, you're coming out of the difficult things, and now you're getting something from this, and you're kind of walking away laughing. Like you're getting more than you even wanted here, than you expected. And this can be also about strategy. Like you've used a lot of good strategy, but also the swords energy here in the good stuff is like you're now aligning. We have the truth card. So this is about you being transparent, you being truthful. I think you're also speaking your truth, and you're approaching people and relationships and situations in a new way. You're finally getting what you want from people and from situations. And this is kind of seems like a new gift almost, like you're the magician. So you're moving in a new era of like, you're the magician and you can pull anything out of the hat you want. You can get anything you want. And I feel like this is a whole different experience than what you used to experience. And maybe some of you always felt like nothing works out for me. Maybe that's a belief you had, because that's something I've dealt with or have, is that belief that I've had to overcome of like nothing works out for me. But guess what? That phase of your life is over, and you're in a new phase of everything works out for me. So I love the Five of Swords coming up in the good stuff here, because on the detriment of the Five of Swords is the energy of you always have to fight and scrape and like, to get what you want from a situation. Like you don't get what you want easily. And it borderlines when we have that energy, this card is about, in its detriment, manipulation, about always feeling in conflict. Like there's always this battle going on, and it's like we have to fight to get our needs met. We have to fight to get what we want out of life. And now that's shifting, which I love, love, love. All right, let's see. I'm just going to clarify a couple things before we go here. Okay, so the Page of Swords, Two of Wands, Three of Swords. Look at all these swords. So there's definitely this like sharp energy here, but also this is referring to like a period of like something definitely was painful. There was some heartbreak here in the past. This to me also with the Page of Swords is about really immature communication or completely lack of communication. And this to me is around relationships. So this could be a karmic pattern with your family, and then it also kind of tied into your personal relationships. But there's a lot of heartache around not being able to communicate with people. So that's kind of what's, to me, is closing up. And then I want to see this Two of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. Or let's just do the Two of Cups first. So we have the Eight of Swords. So yeah, feeling very stuck in relationships. It's like a mental, I'm hearing like a mental game. It's like being in relationships where it's always like this mental game of like, how do I navigate this? Like, I'm tired of it. It feels hard, and it feels like you don't know how to get out of these situations, or how you got yourself into these situations. So Knight of Pentacles, we have the Fool. I love this. Like, I feel like this Knight of Pentacles is more like the people you were around. I feel also like you feel like your life was kind of like that, where it's like this slow energy of like, you're around people who just like, they're slow at doing things. They're slow at progressing. It's like, you're like, I want to move forward. Like, I want to grow. I want to do this. I want to do that. And like, they're holding you back, but you're like, hey, I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm taking risks. I'm letting go of baggage. Like, I'm in this place in my life where I just want to enjoy things, and I'm willing to like expand here, man. It could even be commitment. Like, I'm ready to jump in the deep end. And everyone you're with is like, oh no, I'm not, there's a lot of caution. There's a lot of feeling of that can be like commitment phobia, or just people holding you back from really like making leaps and bounds, like forward movement in your life. Like, they're the type of people that are just steady Eddie. They're fine with their 9-to-5 job. They're fine just like sitting on the couch and watching TV today. They may not have really big goals, or like, you want to get out in life and explore life and experience new things and travel and all this stuff. And like, I just feel like they're not aligned the same. Let's see here. Let's get something for the Six of Wands lovers. So we have the Queen of Cups. Love that. Six of Swords. So you really are kind of grounding in your emotions. Like, maybe you've been through an emotional difficult period, but you're really coming into more like alignment and integration of your emotional body here. This could also refer to a relationship coming in, but really ultimately what I'm seeing is things are going to get a lot easier for you. It's been a rough, I feel like for the collective in general, it's been a rough go for a long time. So it's like, finally, we're going to kind of have this respite time where it's like things are going to get easier. And it's not going to be as challenging, which I think we're all like looking forward to here. And this Page is energy. Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, High Priestess. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. Like, you have been through it. This is like a collective feeling right now. Like, we've been battered and bruised. Like, we almost feel like we're like barely breathing anymore because of just everything. But like, we need some new energy to come in to help us kind of recover from this. So that's where I like this Page energy. That's, again, that light energy coming in. We need some like light energy, light people, fun, some adventure. We need more passion, definitely. Inspired, passionate energy coming in. And now we're able to actually see the value of what we went through now coming to fruition here. We're overcoming the lessons. We're coming over, we feel like we've learned a lot, and now we're able to apply this learning and see the value in our life now. And this High Priestess is like just showing we've elevated to a new level, spiritually, energetically. So that's amazing. And lastly, let's just check this Five of Swords here. King of Pentacles, the Lovers, and Judgment. Whoa, this is some big stuff here. So again, this King could refer to like a relationship, someone who really has their shit together in the physical world. Like, they're like really grounded in life. They got a lot to kind of offer here. But also this could be you as well, just really grounding in your life as well. Really some good things finally you're aligning with that are actually physically you're experiencing now. But with the Lovers card, this could also refer to relationships, and the Judgment card. Like, things are finally gonna start working out for you. Like, a lot of areas in your life, things are gonna start to work out for you, and they're just gonna get easier. But I also like this Judgment card. So in this card, you see these people are coming out of like their graves, and it's like the graves represent your old life, and a life that kind of where you were asleep, that really was stagnant, and like you're awakening. This is almost like your rebirth. And you're hearing the call of the universe, of the divine. And really you're being offered this new kind of heavenly experience. You're kind of, yeah, you're being offered this. It's, to me, I almost see it as like it's like you've gone through this like portal energy, and like you're kind of in this new reality, but it's not like this, like we think of like in a movie where you like walk through and you're like, okay, I'm in a different reality. It's like, you don't know until all of a sudden things just start shifting. Like you're like, what's going on here? Like people are changing, like everything starts working out for you. Like you're manifesting some big things that finally come to kind of, again, like that are going to come to fruition here for you. So exciting times. I'm really intuitively picking up from now until February. There's going to be a lot happening. And by the time you get to February, I think you're going to kind of feel like you've been through some whirlwind. Like, what happened? So sitting in February, I feel like people are going to be in a different place. So it'll be an interesting couple months here. And especially wrapping up the end of the year, I would definitely, I'm interested. I think it's going to be really interesting how the weeks play out through the end of the year. So definitely stay connected and watch the weeklies that come up. And we'll see how this continues. So we should almost say to be continued here. But thanks for joining in. And don't forget to like and subscribe before you head out. Let me know if there's anything, I'm looking at the new year ahead, if there's any types of videos you guys want to see or any recommendations. But you guys have a good week ahead, and I will see you in the next reading.